Hello, friends. I'm here with our August Human Design Transit Report, and welcome to Leo season. So in this video, we're going to have an overview of the primary alignments that are happening from a human design point of view. I do include astrology as well, because the two, obviously astrology is part of human design, and it brings in some really important elements that help us to kind of expand what human design brings as well. There's a lot for us to unpack, and I have a very special event that I want to invite you to as well. It's free. It'll be live stream on YouTube, and so I hope that you can join us for that. All right, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe and leave me a comment. I would just love to hear from you. What landed for you in the video? Do you have any questions, any comments? Yeah, love to hear from you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're now in Leo season, as you are probably aware. So Leo season is the lion, the king of the jungle, the king of the forest, associated a lot with sovereignty, obviously as being that kind of a leader, and also creativity. There is a lot of energy of creativity associated with Leo. And so this is a wonderful season for you to be really leaning into your creative intelligence and to be playing around, to be exploring, to be trying things out, not trying to necessarily make a specific thing. You can do that, of course, if you want to, but there's just something really liberating and inspiring and uplifting and opening, visionary, and when we open up our creativity. One of the things, if you've been with me for a while, you've heard me say this, but it bears repeating, which is that in human design shows us that we have creativity and intuition even more than we have logic as ways to understand who we are, understand each other, and understand our world. And so creativity is a core intelligence that you have. And I really highly encourage you to find something fun for you to do, whether that's, your kind of Andy Goldsworthy thing. If you're out by a river or you're out by the ocean, you just make some art spontaneously where you are, or whether that's something you do in your home, you refresh a room, you bring in a new painting, you do a new painting, you move things around, you like become an artist of everyday life, use your creativity just in, your environment. There's so many different ways that you can express your creativity. It could be your garden. It could be your cooking. As people a lot of times think of it as just like two-dimensional art, but it's not. It's how you express yourself really from the core of your being, really from your heart. And in human design, it's through your sensing circuit, which is your right-brained energy. So go out and make the best of this Leo season and get creative. So these two images are sharing with you all of the different gates that the sun and the earth will be going through during the month of August. So the sun and the earth in the human design system always travel together. They're always across each other on the human design mandala, and they travel around this way around the mandala. They call it counterclockwise. And so you can take a snapshot of this if you want and just see what of these gates you already have colored in on your human design chart, or if they're white, if they're open. And the ones that are white are ones you're probably going to feel more simply because you have a variable way of experiencing those. And then when the sun comes in or the earth comes in, which are our two most significant celestial bodies in the human design system, then you can feel that more strongly. And one of the things I suggest that you do is you take these and you see, are you getting new definition? Are you meeting some of the hanging gates, so that you have the mates that are going on, and then all of a sudden you have a channel that's happening, and maybe you have new centers defined. It's a really great exercise for you to be looking at how are you going to be specifically influenced by what's happening with the alignments that are going on during the month. What I give is a more of a high level interpretation of what's going on. And then it's for you to really apply it to your own chart, like you would with an astrology reading and with your own astrology chart. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I do have a video called Understanding Human Design Transits, and it's free for you. You just need to register to get it. I'll put the link down in the description, and it leads you through how you can put together the human design transits with your own human design chart and what that means for you. So go ahead and get that if this is new for you. All right. One thing I want to pull your attention to right here is at the end of the month, we will have an alignment that creates a channel and will, for everyone, will define two different centers. And that's the channel 4037. And and the sun and the earth are opposite each other. And this is the only time that the sun and the earth are going to be making a complete channel and defining different centers with that channel. But through other alignments over the course of the month, there will be other channels that are defined and other centers. You'll see here, we've got that 4037 that's down on the right-hand side of the chart, right? The left-hand side of the body. But then we'll also have the 31-7 lit up again. Then that will define the throat and the G center. And we also have the 5720 that'll be lit up later in the month, and that will define the throat and the spleen center. So take a snapshot of this, a screenshot, and then see how these will be influencing you in over the course of the month. I know for me, I keep getting a lot of energy coming to my throat. I get manifestor generator energy, and you know, that's exciting for me. It brings me a lot of energy. So it's well worth the effort to go and just see and kind of track it through the month and see how it's going to influence you. Because, for example, if you have a week when you're a manifesting generator and you're a projector, you might want to really utilize that energy when you've got it. So right here at the end of July and the beginning of August, we have something that's known as the Lion's Gate. And it's usually associated with August 8th as the peak of the Lion's Gate, but it's really opening. It's open already, even on the day that I am recording this, and it'll be open up until the 12th. And then the 8th is a peak. The Lion's Gate is when the sun and Sirius both rise together in the morning. Okay. And so this is a very particular time, and it is considered a time when we associate with the galactic beings from the Lyra constellation, the Lyrans, and they are kind of thought of as kind of cat-like beings. And so we associate this with the Lion's Gate. And the Lyrans are some of the oldest of our galactic neighbors and our galactic ancestors. And so there is a lot of energy that gets talked about during this time. And I'm going to do a live stream on the 7th of August. It's a Thursday at noon Pacific time. So find out what time that is for you, where you are in the world. And we're going to do just some deep meditation. We're going to go on a journey together. We'll do some energy work that help us to really boost our energy. I did one of these just recently for the Leo new moon, and people were having extraordinary experiences during the time. So I encourage you to come. And then other people are also doing different kinds of events for Lion's Gate. So I encourage you to check it out. If you feel drawn to it, if you kind of get lit up, hearing me talk about it, then do please go and check it out. Very interesting, on this very same day as the peak of the Lion's Gate, we're going to have a particular conjunction that's happening in the gate 39. So Jupiter moved into the gate 39 in the later part of July, and it's going to be there for about a month. And the dates are here so you can check it out. But then Venus is going to join Jupiter in that particular gate on the 8th of August. And it's going to be there just for 4 days because Venus moves pretty fast. So just going to be there for 4 days. But we have this particular conjunction where both Jupiter and Venus are in the same gate, and they're both in Cancer, the sign of Cancer. Now, the gate 39 is a little bit of a tricky energy because it's known as provocation in traditional human design, and it's known as recalibration in quantum human design. And I think the most kind of awakened and uplifted way of thinking about the gate 39, which I do have defined in my chart, so I've had to dance with it during the course of my life, because if you think about provocation, right? provocation is a little like, it's like provoking, right? And yet we do need to be provoked at times, right? In our spiritual growth process, sometimes we need to be provoked. We need to be disrupted. We need to have our sense of normal kind of shocked, right? It doesn't have to be shocked, like shocking, like you get trauma from it, but shocked, like, wait a minute. What is actually true? What have I been thinking? How have I been moving along? Right. And so for the 39, it has that kind of energy. It's kind of like, it's a pattern interrupt energy, if you will. And its gate is the 55, which is on the emotional solar plexus, and it's known as faith. And it has to do with our faith and abundance, that we will always have what we need when we need to have it. Right. And we've been really taught something different by consumer culture, which is that more money is always better and more possessions are always better. More is always better. Which is why we're killing our planet, because we have had that attitude, right? Whereas the 55, which is coming in really strong because of the precession of the equinoxes, I'm not going to go into that right now, but it's a big part of us changing the background energies that's happening right around this time. And the 55 is becoming much more prominent, and it is the energy for having faith that we are protected, that we are supported, that we are guided by source, right? And that we will always have what we need when we need to have it. So Venus, voice of the divine feminine, voice of our values in human design, is going to be coming in to this 39 to maybe give us a little bit of a pattern interrupt around our relationship to abundance and around our ability to really receive the support that's available, the support that's coming from the earth, the support that's coming from the sun, the support that's coming from all of the light beings who are here to help us during this time of our great transition, right? So allowing ourselves to receive that support, right? Breaking up this sense of separation, of isolation, that I don't have enough, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough friends, I don't have enough opportunities, whatever, not enough, right? Breaking that up. And, sometimes we need to be provoked around that. I know I do sometimes, right? I need a little provocation to be like, wait a minute, are you thinking there's not enough for you? Let's just break that up. So take a look at this for yourself. And like I said, Jupiter is here for a whole month, and Jupiter is kind of shining a light in here too. And of course, Jupiter expands things, and Jupiter is known as a benevolent energy, right? And so take us in and really kind of look at for yourself is, how are you feeling about, are you going to have and have you had what you need when you need it in your life? Then just a day after that, on August 9th, okay, so I've got that peak of the Lion's Gate on the 8th. And then on the 9th, we have a full moon in Aquarius in the gate 13. So the gate 13 is on the G center, which is the yellow diamond here. And it's in the sensing circuit. And so it's creative, right-brained, experiential, and expansive energy, embodied energy. So the gate 13 is known as narrative in quantum human design and the listener in traditional human design. So it is narrative, it's storytelling, it's in the sensing circuit. So it's right-brained energy. It's creative, it's expansive, it's embodied. And so it's a great energy to be leaning into and thinking about, what are the stories that you've been telling yourself? Now, traditionally, we think of the gate 13 as when somebody holds this, okay, they've got it defined in their chart, is other people like to tell them their story. Right? Other people like to confess to them, if they will, right? Is to just come, and sometimes people who have this defined, I do not, but I have heard this from people many times, that, somebody will say, I've never told anybody this before. And so, this is really coming from my heart, right? It's there on the G center, which is the heart. So just know that this is going to be a time where the full moon is here. And I'm going to do another video that focuses more on the full moon, because there's a lot to unpack having to do with that moon. Of course, the Earth is going to be in that gate, and then also the Moon is there, and so we're going to be grounding ourselves in this sense of storytelling that helps us to really make more and better sense of the past. It's kind of, when we think about this narrative, it's not exactly like that 44, which is retelling stories of the past, but it is about how do we kind of take a look at the stories we've been telling ourselves, and can we have a reframe, right? Can we reframe it so that it's more beneficial for us, so that it helps to uplift us rather than become a source of self-criticism, for example, which is often what is happening with our storytelling. So like I said, I'll come back and I'll talk more about it, because there's a lot more to unpack about this particular full moon. But just know you want to set this a time aside, and it's actually the night of the 8th. So even though it's technically on the night, it's actually like at least here on the Pacific coast, it's the night of the 8th. So there's a lot going on around the 8th. And you want to carve out some extra time for you to be tuning in with yourself, and maybe looking at some of the stories that you've been telling, and maybe get together with some friends, trusted friends, where you can take a look at, do we want to recast any of the stories we've been living inside of so that they are more beneficial for us today? A few days after that, yay, Mercury's going to go direct. So I don't know about you, but I've been having all kinds of tech stuff and my communications, and it doesn't help that Uranus is now in Gemini too. So we've got a lot of kind of electrical energy going on around our communications. So the more we can have Mercury going forward, it'll be great. But until then, which is happening on the 11th, it's a really good time to kind of go back over your communications, right? How have your communications gone? And you can see how this really nicely dovetails with that full moon in the gate 13 that has to do with stories. So you can also be thinking of Mercury as supporting you during this time. And then just nearby, we've got Mercury in the gate 31. Okay, it's just going to be there till the 19th, but the gate 31 is known as New Earth Leadership. That's what I call it. I think it was called democracy, but we are really evolving even beyond what we have considered our democracy up until now here in the United States or wherever you are in the world. We're really even changing our relationship to what we think of as democracy. And we've also had an alignment with the gate of collaboration, which is the mate of the 31. So this is also a time to be looking at how are you communicating about leadership? How are you stepping into more leadership for yourself? The 31 has been really lit up lately by a number of different planets. So we're getting a lot of energy around this. How are we showing up as leaders by giving our energy towards what we want our world to look like, rather than the things that are either upsetting us in the world right now, that we're angry about, that we want to fight? How can we instead be giving our energy towards the good things that we really want to be manifesting and have be our new normal in the new earth? And Mercury's here, so it's a good time to be talking about it with other people. Again, you could do this with trusted friends to say, well, what would you like to see in the new earth? In your new earth, what is a new normal? It could be a really fun dinner party. Then on August 18th, Jupiter is going to move from the 39, I was just talking about that a minute ago, into the gate 53, which is the gate of starting things. So starting things. This is a really great time. So Jupiter is going to go in there and it's going to expand this, right? It's going to give you a lot of energetic support for you to be getting to those things that you just have not gotten to. I have a bunch of those. I'm going to be using this. Right? Getting to the things that you haven't gotten to, things that it have been hard for you to start. Like you've wanted to start it, but you just haven't done that. So this is a really great time to be utilizing that. And then, like I said, Jupiter's just going to expand it for you. So for our procrastinator friends out there, go ahead, pick a project, and then begin. Then a couple days later, on August 20th, Pluto, who's retrograde, it's been retrograde for a while, going to be retrograde for a few more months, is going to retrograde all the way back into the gate 60. Now, Pluto's going to stay in Aquarius, is not going to go back into the sign of Aquarius. And the gate 60 actually spans Capricorn and Aquarius. Okay. So Pluto's going to go back into the gate 60. And the gate 60 is the gate of conservation. And it's kind of thought of, it's in the knowing circuit, so it's intuitive, but really it's kind of a filter system. It's like, what do we want to keep and what do we want to discard, right? It's kind of sorting through. It's like discernment, right? And part of it is that because the knowing circuit is mutative, it's where the evolutionary impulse runs through the human design chart. Okay. That when we get to, it's all the way at the root. So the knowing circuit comes in, splits, goes down around both sides of the body and up through the central channel. And so the 60 is all the way at the root, and it is where those two sides come together. And it's kind of going, well, what are all the mutations, right? What are all the new downloads? What are all the new ideas? What are all the new possibilities and potentials that have come in so far? And what do we want to keep and move forward? And what do we want to discard? Because not all new adventures, not all mutations, not all new possibilities are things that we want to say yes to. Sometimes we're like, no, no, that's not something I want to carry forward. So you may feel like this is a little bit reminiscent of what was going on about this time last year, because Pluto was in that gate 60 and did not move into the gate 41 until January 30th of this year. So all through, last year, all the way to the beginning of this year. And, we had the, into Aquarius, back into Capricorn, that little dance we did last year. And now, Pluto is in Aquarius, but is retrograde. And so you might feel like, oh gosh, this kind of reminds me of how I was feeling then. And I really wanted to kind of move forward, but the energy just wasn't flowing. And now, especially with Pluto retrograde, it's not going to feel like it's moving forward. And let's just remember, Pluto is like Phoenix energy, moves through whatever, whether it's a sign or a gate, and is looking at what really needs to go, right? What is corrupt? What is expired? What is no longer helpful, right? What was never helpful? Let's make sure we get rid of that. Like, let's just get rid of that, right? That's the burning down part of the Phoenix energy so that we can begin again. So that we can have a fresh start, so that we're not carrying forward all that stuff that we don't need anymore. And maybe we never needed. Maybe it was never helpful for us. But I'll just say, for example, I work online, right? So I have a variety of different technologies that help me to work online. And I'm going to be moving from a couple of different platforms to another one. And so I'm moving all of this data, right? So many things from these two major platforms to this other one. And what we've been doing is we've been cleaning everything up, getting rid of old stuff, deleting things, making decisions. This doesn't matter anymore. If we're going to ever go there again, we're going to redo it, whatever it is, right? So that's a very kind of Pluto thing to be doing. It's like, let's clear this out of here so we can have some more space for the new. So this is a really great time for you to be considering that, because Pluto's going to be here for a while. It's going to be in the gate 60 all the way through the beginning of December. And then it's going to, move back into the 41, is not going to go back into the 60 again. So we are going to be moving forward from there and on to other gates. A few days after that, we're going to move into Virgo season. So Virgo is, one of the earth signs, right? So we're going to have this emphasis on our relationship to Gaia. And then again, ruled by Mercury, which again has to do with our communication. We're having a lot of emphasis on Mercury right now, especially with Uranus in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. And so a lot of mercurial energy happening here. And then we have a new moon in Virgo happening right here on the 23rd, right when we move into Virgo season. And we get a bonus new moon in Virgo, which is going to happen on the fall equinox here in the north. Interesting, right? And so that's also going to be a partial eclipse. We're going to start moving into eclipse season. So this is just a little heads up for you to know that this is coming on the 23rd, and that you'll want to be setting new intentions for yourself during that time. And I will do another video about that when we get a little bit later in the month. So put August 7th in your calendar at noon Pacific time. The recording will be available on Facebook and on YouTube afterwards. But if you want to come live for our celebration for the Lionsgate, our celebration of creativity, of the sun, of our own ability to be sovereign of our being, right? We'll do a bunch with sovereignty. You know, I have a book on feminine sovereignty. If you haven't seen it already, you might want to go check it out. So I will mention that on the live stream as well. So that's on August 7th. Go ahead and put it in your calendar, and I'd be really happy to see you then. The last thing I want to mention is that we do have a really great new human design chart with a mandala, which is free, that you can get. I'll put links for all of this down below, so you don't have to remember any of it right now. But if you want to get your human design mandala, and here's an image of it, then you can go to yourfreehumandesignchart.com and just get your your regular body graph, but then your mandala there as well. And if you want to, we do now have a custom reading report that's available. It's 50 pages. It's totally customized to you. And then it also has some basically human design education that could be beneficial for you as well. If you help you understand what definition and openness are, know more about what it means when a center is open or if it's defined. There's a variety of different things like that, that if you're newer to human design, is really just going to help orient you so that, you have a foundation to start working from and to start exploring from. Okay, so lovely to be here with you today, and I would love to see you live on the 7th. Many blessings, much love. Bye for now.